Welcome back, our dear viewers. As we promised earlier, we are going to take you back in history to the Fatimid era, where the dynasty of the Fatimid had a great influence. How the Fatimid came to Egypt, how they invaded Egypt, how they did have this such a big impact on the Egyptians and in the Egyptian history. That would be our topic for discussion for today with our dear guest in the studio, Dr. Mamdouh Farouk, the Egyptologist and author in Egyptology. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Mamdouh. And as Mahisi have just said, the Fatimid era had its great impact on on Egypt. They had their own traditions, which we're still practicing up till this moment. Would you please tell us about the start of the Fatimid in Egypt? How did they invade Egypt?
Yes, you are right that is by these occasions we have to talk about Fatimid period because the most of Egyptians influenced by Fatimids. The first question is, who are the Fatimids? The Fatimids were descended from Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, and it started from the two dates from the 909 AD to 1107. It's the period from the start from Ubaydullah al-Mahdi, the first caliphate, or started the Fatimid period from Tunisia until Al-Adid Bidinillah is the last one in Egypt that started from Tunisia and ended in Cairo. We can say it ended in Egypt. It's Fatimids. Their capitals that were located at Raqqada in Algeria, Al-Mahdiya, Al-Mansuriya, and the last one is Cairo. Is the last capital for the Fatimids period.
Dr. Mamdouh, we always mention Qahirat al-Mu'izz. Why we do that? Was he the one actually who established Cairo, the new capital of the Fatimids?
Okay, you can, let me tell you that the Egyptians tended to close to the family of the families of the prophets, or the descendants of the prophets, Fatima Zahra and Hussein, and they the Fatimids used this act in the hearts of Egyptians, that is influenced by closing to the God by these relatives. Okay, and they started to Al-Mu'azzin started to send Gawhar al-Siqali, or the Sicilian one, the great leaders of Fatimids, to visit Egypt and to bathe everything in Egypt, because Al-Mu'azzin wanted to be welcomed by Egyptians at this time. We can say Gawhar al-Siqali entered Egypt 969, and Al-Mu'azzin they entered later at 972 AD. It is 3 years later after Gawhar al-Siqali. We can say اللي بنى مصر كان في الأصل حوالين جوهر الصقلي. His father was the pastry makers.
So he was actually a pastry.
Yeah, the pastry makers.
Oh, okay. So this is not just a saying.
Yes.
Right. Would you please tell us about the traditions, the most important traditions during that era?
Yes, we can talk about the most important ruler. We can say the traditions and the customs were applied at his time. Al-Hakim بأمر الله. Hakim بأمر الله is the second caliphate in Egypt, and he had a bad and good customs or tradition in his times, like to prevent Mulukaya, and prevented women to walk in the night, and prevented grain.
Why in the night only?
Was that Al-Hakim بأمر الله?
Yes, it's mentally deviated. Somehow the mentally deviated because because he was a Shia from categories from Ismailiyah. Okay.
But he prevented women from walking only at night, and they can walk during daytime.
And they didn't to wear the slippers that it make the sounds where
the sound of the slipper.
And he prevented the grapes to prevent the wine at this time. Okay. Wine, yes, because
a wine is made from grapes,
yes,
so he prevented the grapes.
Yes, he was a strict man, strict, and so he was close to Shia, and after he destroyed some building of Sunni, he returned back to build the schools of the texturing of Sunni. He is mentally deviated that was strict and free. This is a very embarrassing point that was all historians, all historians, that were embarrassed about his life. Hakim Amrillah, okay, his sister was Sitt al-Mulk. He was assassinated and disappeared, suddenly disappeared. The one
Hakim
time,
Amrillah was
disappeared one time, suddenly disappeared. The one he was ascending the mountain, scouting the stars, okay, because he's accustomed to scouting the stars and watching over the movement of stars and the planet, because of that telescope.
He was never found, or the mystery of his disappearance was not revealed afterwards.
Because Muhammad Ismail al-Durzai from the Shia, they thought that he put something is very important, as the deity or divine al-Hakim Amrillah, that is was like a god that was ascendant to the sky. So some people say that Hakim Amrillah was his soul ascendant to his god.
He was very strict, and that story you've just mentioned about restricting or preventing the people from eating molokhia. What was the point behind this?
Molokhia, it's belonged to or related to Molokhia, the royal food.
Royalty.
Yes, royal food is not attributed to the four commons.
So only the royal family is allowed to eat molokhia?
Yes, Hakim Amrillah. He was a little child, because the most of the caliphates in the Fatimid periods ascending the throne when they were a child, that from
So how old was he?
Years.
How old was he when he was ruler?
7 years.
7 years?
7 years. The one ascending the throne, and the 11, there was strict when it was 11 years. Hakim Amrillah. We can talk about.
And how long did he rule?
About 20 years.
So he ruled until the age of 27?
Yes, until there was a young man. But
Maybe these decisions or these rules were a bit weird because he was quite young as well.
yes, it was young, and there was a minister. It's called Bourguin. Bourguin, he brought him as a child, and was killed by Al-Hakim Amrillah when he felt that Bourguin wanted to control Egypt, and it was Sitt al-Mulk, his sister, helped him to get rid of Bourguin, the first minister or the prime minister in Egypt.
What about the story of the lantern, which started during the Fatimid era?
We have some narrations about lanterns. Lanterns like lamps to lighten the dark in the night. So we can say Maqrizi, the historian, Arabian historian, said that the lanterns that were bring from that Al-Hakim Amrillah or Mu'izz al-Din Allah ordered boys to get some lamps to scouting the stars at the night. And the second narration say the women that were walking in the street alone, and they were combined by a small child. The small child was carrying a small lamps. So this was it became a custom in Egypt. When all Egyptians, okay, they were hanging the lamps in the front or the gate of the mosques at this time to enlighten the streets.
Right, but this used to take care the whole year round. How did it stick to Ramadan after that?
Yes, in Ramadan, it's okay. At the Ramadan months, they were interested to celebrate was Egyptian people at the squares or the gathering spots in Cairo, or Fatimid Cairo. So they used the lamps, okay, especially in particular in the Ramadan months.
Dr. Mamdouh, what about the most important monuments that the Fatimids did leave during their time, after their time?
I think that you visited Shari al-Mu'izz.
Of course, I did.
The most important, we can say it's an open museum, from including
a large number of mosques and
the various and different monuments in Egypt, starting from Fatimid's period, Mamluki, Dirkasian and Bahari, and we can say Osman or Osman's periods. We can from Bab al-Futuh to Bab Zuwayla. We can see it takes long 1 kilo and 200 meters. And
how many mosques are in that street, in Al
we
Mu'izz
can
street?
say not monuments. We can say not mosques. Sorry, monuments. 332 monuments in
Al Mu'izz street.
in Mu'izz streets, from mosques, Sabil, Kutab, okay, and some palaces that were located at this street.
Yes. We find there the place named Zainab Khatoon. We find some places.
This is
by the
Sabil,
name-
I think.
Yeah,
Zainab Khatoon is a
Sabil and the house
House.
of
And a house.
Zainab Khatoon, Sihami,
Beit al-Sahimi,
yes,
right?
Ga'far, the house. All these houses belong to the high official or high sheikhs or religious men in this period. We can say that the owners of the shops, they were put some lamps and the garbage box in front of this shops. They were interested in to clean and to keep the street clean at this time.
Dr. Mamdouh, how did the dynasty of the Fatimid end?
It's embarrassing questions because we can say Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, the founder of Ayyubid periods, who ended this one because there is a conflict between As-ad-Din Shirkuh and Nurwan. Salah ad-Din became a minister at the Al-Adid al-Din Allah, okay, and started to put some points of a Sunni doctrine at this time and to remove Madhab Shia or Shia doctrines on time, and Salah ad-Din could establish a new dynasty. It's called Ayyubid period, at when Al-Adid al-Din Allah was died at this time.
Right, Dr. Mamdouh Farouk, researcher and historian, many thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
I believe Dr. Mamdouh will be back next week with more updates about the traditions and the habits that
We can talk about the gates and some the important monuments in Mu'izz or Fatimid period. You have to be interested in this era because it's very important, and the Egyptian people they were very happy and influenced by this period.
And I believe that there were many gates which were established during that era that we'll be talking about
But
next time.
Zuwayla, the one some executed the executions process, they were hanging as a punishing at the gate, Bab Zuwayla.
Indeed.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, with this we come to the end of this edition of The Breakfast Show. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, same time. I would like to thank Mahisti Rabia as
Thank you
my
very much.
partner this morning. Goodbye, until then, until we see you tomorrow, goodbye.